crap out of him.
Good deal.
All right, so there's a certain percentage of the population that thinks Kyle just gave the offensive coordinator job to a 24-year-old. What is he doing?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have 100% of the people in favor of whatever you do, and so I don't think that's a factor whatsoever. Bottom line is, after conducting really what amounted to a nationwide search, and while recruiting is going on, which isn't the easiest thing to do, that's why it took the time it did. That's why when Norm first left, I made the statement that it'll probably take until signing day to get this thing wrapped up. But after conducting a nationwide search, it became very apparent that the best, actually two candidates were right here on our staff. A-Rod is a very good football coach, and certainly was one of the guys that was right there at the end. But I felt for our situation, our current situation, where I want to go, and the leadership that Brian demonstrated as a player was the better fit at this point in time.
So is the leadership you saw as a player, that's what really made you lean to him when you had 60, 70 other applicants?
That's one of the things. He knows our system. He knows what I'm all about, and we operate pretty. It's a very demanding. I'm very demanding as a head coach of the staff and what I expect, and it's not always a great fit, when you come from the outside. So that's one of the reasons I always prefer to promote from within if it can be done. Now, there's not always that opportunity. Sometimes that doesn't present itself, but if you can promote from within with a guy that knows the system, knows what we're all about, knows the expectations, I think that's more times than not a better fit.
People say he doesn't have experience. He actually, he's been in this program for 8 years or so.
He has. He's been 8 years, and like we all know, he's been the exception to the rule his whole life. I mean, he starts school when he's 5 years old, and boom, they put him in second grade right out of the gate. He skips first grade and kindergarten, and so. And he claims that he was reading at 2 years old. Now, I got to call his mom to find out if that's true. That sounds a little Uncle Rico-ish to me. I'll check on that one. But he's always been ahead of the curve ever since he started school. Like I said, signed a letter of intent as a 16-year-old senior in high school, was a starting Division I quarterback at 18 years old. So there's never a point in his life, I don't believe, that he hasn't been ahead of the curve.
What does it say about Brian that you're getting this job after 2 years of coaching experience when you interviewed guys obviously with 20, 30 some years?
Yeah, first thing it says is I believe in him, without a doubt. I believe in him 100%. And I think it was Bill Walsh that said, you're never, ever ready for a head coaching job. I don't care what the circumstances. And I feel the same way about coordinators. The bottom line is you're either smart enough, driven enough, and have the work ethic to figure it out and survive the learning curve, or you're not. I don't think that I think experience is overrated in that respect. I think you can be an assistant coach for 20 years, and it's not going to prepare you to be a head coach or a coordinator until you're in that chair. That's the time that you really find out what your capabilities are.
As a head coach now, you've had different coordinators with slightly different philosophies. Do you want to go back to the spread, the pro style? Where do you want this program to go?
I think that's Brian's vision, and my stance with our OCs ever since I got this job is, hey, I'm a defensive guy. You have just about complete autonomy with what you want to do offensively. All I'd like you to do is take care of the football and score touchdowns in the red zone. As long as we can do that and be productive, then I'm good with that. But I know Brian, his preference would be to spread things out a little bit more, which we're going to do.
How much control will he have? How much input will Aaron Roderick have? How much input will you have? I know you like to work with the defense, but with the offense.
Well, I'm in as many of the offensive meetings as I can be. I always have been ever since I've been here, but that doesn't mean I'm in there meddling and trying to, you can get dangerous when you know just enough to screw things up. And so I keep abreast of what's going on. But really, like I said, it's the offensive coordinator's deal, and right now that's Brian Johnson. Aaron Roderick as the passing game coordinator. That's Aaron's. He knows football inside and out, but his area of expertise, of real expertise, is in the route structures in the throw game, and he can be a vital cog in our machine here with that.
With Aaron, it's kind of an awkward situation. He was the offensive coordinator and then moves aside for Norm, but when Norm leaves, he doesn't get it back. How does all that work out?
Well, I'll tell you what, Aaron was disappointed. He's a competitor. Aaron Roderick is a competitive individual, and he has every right to believe that he, could have been the coordinator or should have been the coordinator, and that's how I want him. If he just was, dismissed it and had no fire in him, then that's not the kind of guy we want working here. And so, that being said, he's also the ultimate team guy. He's on board, he's all in, and we've already had these conversations. And Aaron Roderick's a fine coach that's going to be a coordinator soon. I mean, that's my own feeling.
With Sharif Shah, this is kind of an unusual career path. Why did you want a lawyer?
Well, if we have need of an attorney, we always get a house for one. But when I look for assistant coaches, I've talked about experience before as being, sometimes it can be a big factor, but in some cases, I think it may be a little bit overrated. I look for intelligence, character, and energy. And when you think of those three qualities or those three traits, characteristics, Sharif Shah epitomizes every one of them. I mean, he's been successful at everything he's done in his life. 4-year starter here at Utah, started as a true freshman, bachelor's degree, master's degree, law degree, a successful lawyer. He knows the game inside and out. It's not like we're taking some guy off the street that doesn't know anything about football. Sharif Shah is tuned in, he's dialed in, and I'll tell you, the players are very excited to have him on board.
What was Chris Hill's reaction when you told him you wanted to go with Brian at coordinator?
Like everybody else's, is he ready? And, unless you spend every day, all day with Brian like I do, you may not think so from the outside looking in. But like I said, he's been ahead of the curve his entire life. And, I got no doubt that he has got the necessary skills to get the job done.
How big of a jump is it from quarterbacks coach to coordinator, and how is his life about to change?
Big jump. A big jump from any time you go from position coach to coordinator or coordinator to head coach. That's a big jump. Obviously, he's going to be under a lot more scrutiny and more in the limelight. But I think, as you found out today, he handles himself very well with the press, and I think that he's going to make the transition a very seamless one.
Are you going to take some of the recruiting responsibilities off his plate, or does he hold on to all of those and still coordinate?
Yeah, typically you do take some of the coordinator's responsibilities, recruiting responsibilities off his plate and temper, how much he's going to be on the road and that type of thing, because you need him here preparing, for example, in December, especially when you got a bowl game you're getting ready for, trying to recruit at the same time. I don't like the coordinators to be on the road all that much, and so he will be scaled back a little bit in recruiting, but he's an excellent recruiter, so we're not going to take him completely out of the mix, but he won't have as much territory or as much time on the road as he did before.
Thank you, Coach.
That's a wrap. Thanks, guys.
Anyone who needs their